News when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Nathan Hager.
And I'm Karen Moskow.
Karen, we begin with the latest developments in the Middle East as the world awaits Iran's response to the U.S. attack over the weekend, an extensive operation that targeted its nuclear sites at Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan. This morning, Iranian state media report that Israel is continuing with attacks at Fordo. Bloomberg's Israel bureau chief Ethan Bronner begins our global team coverage.
The counterattack and attacks continue. Israel has been taking out, it says, launchers and missile storage sites. It has also attacked a bunch of airfields, military airfields, taken out some military planes on the ground in Iran. It is also overflying and attacking in Tehran and the capital. And it recently, according to a recent report, just took another hit at Fordo, at that heavily fortified uranium enrichment center that the Americans dropped those 14 bunker busters on. So the Israelis have been continuing heavily.
And that's Bloomberg Israeli bureau chief Ethan Bronner. Iran is vowing retaliation and is keeping up attacks on Israel following the U.S. strikes on its nuclear facilities over the weekend. And Bloomberg's Jumana Bersachi continues our team coverage in Dubai.
What is certain is that they will have to respond somehow. And remember, last week, the supreme leader, the Ayatollah, gave a televised speech where he said, and he warned the U.S., that if they did participate militarily in Israel's air campaign against Iran, they would have no choice but to reciprocate and to cause, quote, irrevocable damage. And so we are now in a situation where they will have to respond somehow. The question is whether they go for a targeted response, similar to what we got after the killing of Qasem Soleimani back in 2020, when they did actually attack a U.S. base in Iraq, but they telegraphed it to the U.S. beforehand. So it didn't lead to any fatalities at the time, but it was enough for them to save face and say that they had actually responded.
And that's Bloomberg's Jumana Bersachi, who says the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, which answers to Iran's supreme leader, signaled U.S. military bases in the region could be targeted.
And Karen, the U.S. strike has sparked a swift global response. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is coming out against the attack.
The bombing of Iranian nuclear facilities by the United States marks a perilous turn in a region that is already reeling.
Secretary General Guterres spoke at an emergency UN Security Council meeting. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is expressing support for the strike.
We've long had concerns about the Iranian nuclear program and been very clear that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. The US has now taken action to alleviate that threat.
And now UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer is urging all sides to de-escalate. China issued a statement saying the use of bunker buster bombs will push the Israel-Iran conflict toward an uncontrollable state. Pakistan is criticizing the bombing as well. That country's prime minister met yesterday with Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian. At the same time, Pakistan says it is nominating President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize for helping to resolve its conflict with India last month.
Nathan, several airlines around the world are halting flights to the Persian Gulf, and we get the very latest at Bloomberg's Ewan Potts in London. Good morning, Ewan.
Karen and Nathan, British Airways and Singapore Airlines among the carriers cancelling flights to the Persian Gulf in the wake of those US strikes on Iran. According to Flight Radar 24, BA has dropped several flights to Dubai and diverted 2 other planes bound for the Emirates, including one which took off from Heathrow on Saturday, which was diverted to Zurich. Flights to Doha and Bahrain have also been cancelled. Further afield, Air India and Japan Airlines have rerouted flights to avoid the Persian Gulf, adding to journey times for passengers. In London, I'm Ewan Potts, Bloomberg Radio.
Okay, Ewan, thank you. Turning to the market reaction following the U.S. strikes, futures are higher. S&P futures are up 0.2%. Oil prices are higher as well. The global benchmark Brent initially surged as much as 5.7%. Right now, it's up 0.9%. Matt Gerken, chief geopolitical strategist at BCA Research, says prices could go even higher.
If Hormuz is closed, or if shipping in other ways is blocked, or if Saudi Arabia is hit, those are last gasp actions by Iran. But if they happen, then of course we would start to move toward maybe even a doubling of oil price. I mean, definitely over 100 per barrel.
BCA Research's Matt Gerken. Those comments come as Bloomberg data show that two empty supertankers capable of transporting around 2 million barrels of crude U-turned in the Strait of Hormuz after the strikes.
And that's news when you want it with Bloomberg News Now. I'm Karen Moskow.
I'm Nathan Hager, and this is Bloomberg.